Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Jane's Fighters Anthology as we continue the single mission aircraft showcases. Today should be a relatively short one. Uh, Alright, let's change these up a bit. And so today's aircraft is going to be what the game calls the IL-76 Mainstay, but in reality, it's the Bereiv A-50. I suppose at the time they didn't know, they just saw, oh, modified IL-76 must be IL-76, but just in the same way that we don't call it the Boeing E-8 joint stars. The system integrator for this is Bereiv, so it's really the Bereiv A-50 Mainstay. In any case, we'll just be flying over the Ukraine because that's just that's one of the two maps that has Russia in it. Yeah, as you can see, nothing for a loadout. And this is a Soviet AWACS. So you can see it is built on the IL-76 airframe. And much like the E-3 Sentry, has a radar radome. And this serves pretty much the same role as the E-3 Sentry. Bereiv A-50 Mainstay is a Soviet airborne early warning and control aircraft based on the Aleutian IL-76 transport. Designed to replace the Tupolev Tu-126 Moss, the A-50 first flew in 1978. Its existence was revealed to the West in 1980 by Adolf Tolkachev, and it entered service in 1984 with about 40 produced by 1992. Mission personnel of the 50-man crew derived data from the large Liana surveillance radar with its antenna in an over-fuselage rotodome, which has a diameter of 9 meters. Detection range is 650 kilometers or 400 miles for air targets and 300 kilometers or 190 miles for ground targets. And you can see if we turn on the radar here, obviously, because we're a surveillance aircraft, we just get max. What the fuck? I specifically set myself to be Russian so that way these bases would be friendly, but whatever. We're just going to land at Krasnodar. Obviously, I'm not going to land in Crimea because that is rightful Ukrainian land. So we're just going to set a course for Krasnodar. And honestly, I mean, the flight profile of this wouldn't be too interesting. We'd just be flying in circles on patrol looking for hostile aircraft. Here, let's set a course 080. There we go. The A-50 can control up to 10 fighter aircraft for either air-to-air intercept or air-to-ground attack missions. The A-50 can fly 4 hours at 1,000 kilometers or 620 miles from its base at a maximum takeoff weight of 190 metric tons. The aircraft can be refueled by IL-78 tankers. The radar Vega M is designed by MNIIP Moscow and produced by NPO Vega. The Vega M can track up to 150 targets simultaneously within 230 kilometers, and large targets like surface ships can be tracked at a distance of 400 kilometers. Development work on a modernized version, the A-50U, began in 2003. State tests started on the 19th of September 2008 using a Russian Air Force A-50 37 Krasny as a prototype. It replaces analog avionics with a new digital avionics suite made by Vega Radio Engineering Corporation that speeds data processing and improves signal tracking and target detection. Crew rest, toilet, and galley facilities are also included in the upgrade. After completing the joint state tests, Bereiv has delivered the first A-50U to the Russian Air Force. The aircraft 47 Krasny RF-92957 was handed over at Bereiv's facility in Taganrog on the 31st of October 2011. It was accepted by an aircrew serving with the 2457th Aviation Base for combat operation of airborne early warning aircraft. And I'm not even going to try to read the Russian translation of that. Avibaza Bovogo Primenenia Samoloitov Dalnego Radiolo Katsinondo Obnarusinia. Yeah, like I said. Anyways, Ivanovo Seminary, which is the only base using the A-50 operationally. It was accepted at Ivanovo Severny, which is the only base using the A-50 operationally, and it currently operates around 16 aircraft. The fourth A-50U 41 Taganrog was delivered to the Russian Aerospace Forces on the 7th of March 2017. The fifth A-50U 45 Krasny was delivered on the 6th of September 2018, and 7 aircraft have been delivered as of December of 2021. The A-50U upgrade forms the basis of the concept for the Bereiv A-100 AEW and C. Its configuration will be similar, but with a new Vega Premier active electronically scanned array radar. It is worth noting that Western sanctions, starting first with the occupation of Crimea and then with the Russian invasion of Donbass and eventually the Russian invasion of Ukraine as a whole, have impacted the A-100 program, and Russia's been struggling to find replacement components because they've often just used Western equipment in their aircraft for advanced electronics and stuff instead of developing their own. So, in late December 2015, the A-50 started operations over Syria, flying from Russia to support Russian military intervention in the Syrian civil war. And in December of 2018, it was deployed to Crimea. And obviously, as of 2022, 2023, it has been actively serving in the Russian invasion of Ukraine, probably guiding Russian aircraft on their attack runs on Ukrainian civilian centers, since Russia seems to have kind of just given up on targeting military targets at this point in time. The only export operator of the A-50 is India, who currently have 2 on order. Otherwise, you have the A-50, the A-50M, which is the upgrade, which was actually the first one, first variant to have in-air refueling capability. The A-50U, which is the A-50M, but with additional modern electronics and increased crew comfort for longer missions. There was the Izdeli 676 one-off stopgap telemetry and tracking aircraft, presumably for missile range testing. Similarly, there's also the Izdeli 776 one-off stopgap telemetry and tracking aircraft. Again, I would presume this is our missile range telemetry aircraft. There we go. Now we got our target. Then there's the Izdeli 976 Skip, which is an airborne check, measure, and control center. IL-76 base range control and missile tracking platform, initially built to support Raduga KH-55 cruise missile tests. We have the Izdeli 1076 one-off special mission aircraft with unknown duties, and then the A-50EI, which is an export version for Indian Air Force with Aviditil PS-90 A-76 engines and Israeli EL-W-2090 radar. See, even the Indians want Western electronics as opposed to Russian electronics. Because honestly, a large chunk of the Russian electronics industry is still vacuum tubes, actually. In fact, they are like one of the countries you would go to if you want vacuum tubes, just because they still make and use so many. I had a friend who got a bunch of Russian vacuum tubes. This was well before the Crimean invasion, back in like the early 2000, well, maybe late 2010 or late 2000. around 2010, but otherwise, the only other operator is the Russian Air Force at the 2457th Aviation Base with the 144th Airborne Early Warning Aviation Regiment. Obviously, because Soviet Union, we don't know much about the Soviet operations of the aircraft because they were super secretive, even more so than Russia, which in a way it's hard to imagine, but alright. Let's, and this flies very similarly to all the other commercial-based airliners we've been using. Very big, very heavy, but very stable. Oh yeah, it's not going to give us the landing instrumentation because technically an enemy airport. Well, at least they didn't include enemy air defense on this map. There we go. And we are landed. So now we just gotta wait to come to a stop. And that's gonna take a while because it is a big, heavy aircraft. And actually, I'm not gonna come to a complete stop like I should because we're just gonna taxi on off. Anyways, general characteristics. The A-50 has a crew of 15, a length of 49.59 meters, a wingspan of 50.5 meters, a height of 14.76 meters, wing area 300 meters squared, an empty weight of 75,000 kilograms, max takeoff weight of 170,000 kilograms. Power plant consists of 4 Soloviev D30KP turbofan engines, rated for 117.68 kilonewtons of thrust each, or 26,460 pounds force. Maximum speed is 560 miles per hour and a range of 7,500 kilometers, or 4,000 nautical miles. Service ceiling is 39,000 feet, which is actually unexpectedly low. And that is the overview of the A-50. So we are just going to park ourselves on the tarmac. That's going to be, I was going to say that's probably going to be pretty far away. But I'm not going to play the odds with an aircraft this big. You can see it retains the IL-76 high wing and such. Wow, the game really doesn't like the camera phasing through the hangar. You can see it's got that ton of carriage landing gear there. Interesting enough aircraft if it wasn't being used come on, there we go. If it wasn't being used to support killing innocents in Syria and Ukraine right now. But in any case, that's really about all I have to say about this guy. So with that, thank you all for watching and stay tuned for next time and stay safe out there. We'll see you then.